What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Snowpiercer two-part finale video and breakdown. We finally learned why the train sped past Melanie and what her fate was, and while the first episode of this two-part finale felt like a normal episode, the second was the action-packed finale that we wanted. I'm not quite sure why they decided to do a 2-hour finale other than scheduling commitments, as to be honest, as with every 2-hour finale, the first part is always a bit dead. Overall, it was a fitting end, even if it was a total letdown that Melanie is gone from the show. Maybe she's off to be rogue in the MCU, but hey, a man can wish. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on to never miss a video. We open with Ruth doing the first hour's monologue, talking how people have traded freedom for security and how Wilford turned hope into fear, with the train essentially being back to how it was when Melanie was pretending to be Wilford. All Wilford needs to do now is punish those who took the train in the first place. Now Bessie goes to see Wilford as a special party is being planned, and Kevin is being charged with arranging the tickets as a lottery, but later we learn that it's not that random at all. Now Wilford wants a census of all the passengers and is even using his medical data to not only find out who's weak and can be culled, but also who took part in the revolution. It's essentially what happened on the Big Alice and explains why there are less people on there, and I do think that we could have done with a flashback episode on the Big Alice, maybe instead of the first hour of this. But Sean Bean was menacing here nonetheless. Ruth is clear about backing the train, as Kevin is just a lapdog and nothing more, which is very sad to see. Now, Yavi is taken to the Big Alice as Ben and him are split up. He says how Melanie was talented to Alex, who's clearly annoyed that she's having to share her duties with someone, but Wilford has taken more special interest in Bessie and says there's no more need for a trained detective, as it was Melanie's idea. But Bessie does mention that the missing people are making people a bit concerned, and Wilford says how Leighton is working and Roach and his family are in the drawers. That's pretty damn dark, as he just says it so matter of fact. Bessie, of course, says that this won't go over well with people, but as always, he has a plan and has Willy's World, a carnival, which the name made me laugh because I am an immature little man. But Josie is also a beast now and talks to the scientists about what they did to her and asks what it was like in the chamber. She also has robot hands later in the episode. Now, as a counterpart to the private party, our boy Wilford, like I said, was having his carnival with him as the ringmaster, complete with puppet show, and, well, he roasts Alex about her mother. However, sensing a bit of a discord amongst everyone, Wilford does drop the bombshell to Alex that her mother has been missing and no contact has been made for 10 days. I'm gutted the last we saw of Melanie on the show was her just running from the train, and we will miss Melanie here, as her absence has really been noted later in this season. But poor Josie is having to have the cold treatment, and it becomes clear that she was just intended to be simply a replacement for Icy Bob, and I wonder how many people they actually did this to. Now, Wilford taunts Leighton as we see him in what seems to be the sewage treatment carriage, and says how politics is just how people want safety and security, and I'm so confused as to why someone as ruthless as Wilford just kept Leighton alive. Leighton has Game of Thrones level plot armor, but I imagine it is due to his ego and wants to turn him just like he did with Kevin. However, Leighton stings Wilford by saying that people will never love him like he wants as the party starts, and the big players from the last season and the rest of this season as well are invited, at least invited in quotation marks there. I like Ruth jostling with Kevin about who has control of the dining cart as they have dinner, and Wilford grills each guest as LJ says how Melanie just wanted to be like Wilford. Well, in reality, she didn't want to, she just had to do it to keep in control and have the Wilford loyalists happy. But I liked how Wilford asked if LJ was actually guilty if the verdict was overturned, and she struggles to keep conversation as our blowy brakeman stands up for her, but Wilford asks what happened to the janitor head, as he came from his buildings in New York, but Bessie saves it. Just say it was a tough time, though. Wilford is just here trying to scope out who is against him and who isn't. Now, the true nature of the sentence is revealed, and Wilford seemed to have a small bit of remorse, but I think that's just for show. He asks Ruth if she wants to be the department head, and, well, she says no, because she has to say that they're not going to get Melanie, and that would lose pretty much everyone who is, or at least was, in the tail, and possibly some of third class. I love how he is so much of a D-bag, he still mugs off Kevin. But Ruth refuses and is stripped of her role and sent to where Leighton is, as Alex is put in the brig, or at least the brig they have. Bessie just wants justice and is shown the killers of the breachmen, except it isn't justice. True justice is a court, a jury and things like that, and Wilford being brought to account, something Wilford just cannot understand. They were acting on his behalf. Just having these people isn't what Bessie wants. She wants true justice. However, all is not lost, as Yavi gets a message halfway through the orgy that is taking place in Wilford's car that Melanie is alive, and a plan is concocted to go and get her. While I like this episode, I would have liked a bit more of a fast-paced one, but Sean Bean really is turned up to 11 here, and I really did feel that menace for him. It's not like a villain we usually see in other properties, such as where he is someone who we like. I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I really want to see him suffer a really brutal death. Episode 10 opens with Alex talking how she was just used by Wilford and how he said that they would rule the train together, but that all changed once they got to the Snowpiercer and met the Snowpiercees, and Wilford taunts her with some awful torture method and really wants her to renounce the revolutionaries, which of course she won't, as she just wants to get her mother back, and she saw how these people kept her mother's dream alive. Alex really has been an MVP this season. I really like the character's growth, and the actress who plays her is really, really good. The standouts for me this season, other than Sean Bean, of course, has got to be the actress who plays Bessie and Alex there. Now, Ruth and Leighton enact their plan to escape, and they need to be ruthless to fight against Wilford and do things they would never do, which I thought was a really nice thing. So far, they've played it safe and tried to do what is best for the train and kind of keep people on side, but now they go hardcore and kill to escape. They don't find anyone until they see Alex and let her know her mum's alive, and reach the control room of Big Alice, where they are aghast at Wilford's luxuries, and the bathtub, of course. I liked how Alex played a long game here and decided she's going to renounce the revolutionaries, and Wilford seems shocked. I imagine because he wanted to torture her some more to get her round as LJ comes in, which I found it odd that Wilford was teasing her earlier, but now she's getting the McDonald's breakfast for the office. I guess that she is just doing whatever she can to survive here. However, Alex drops the plan to Bessie as Yavi manages to get a coded message to Ben that they're going to grab Melanie. I thought the whole thing with Leighton's baby mama was just so incredibly boring and really took away a lot from this episode. I get she's important, but it felt very clunky here. But I liked how Ben went sicko mode, taking on Wilford's lackey as he fights and manages to sort the tracks out just in time. They plan to go up the test track, but obviously Wilford instantly notices and sets a lockdown, and he knows that Alex is to do with this as Yavi locks down and Wilford makes a beeline for him. Our poor engineer was killed. I think he was killed by the huge dog there. Rest in peace, King. You held the line long enough. However, we see Melanie's episode scene again as she runs for the train, but is going far too fast. This was the train that couldn't slow down. However, the crew have a plan to decouple the aquarium car that is used in an emergency, except Josie is being used to take down the crew and take control of the engine once more. I did wish she had a bit more to do, and the scientists revolted and things like that, but I guess that's just a niggle. But the aquarium car can be removed even in a lockdown, and they'll use it and a few other cars to go and get Melanie and come back round to the rest of the train. Now, Leighton confronts Wilford with Audrey and secures no reprisal against anyone, which is going to be completely ignored as Josie smashes the aquarium car. And while I felt bad for the fish, the effect of the water freezing was stunning, as the train is now split. But sadly, Melanie is missing, presumed dead, and, well, she used the last of the power reserves to keep the data drives there, and they managed to find places where the Earth is warm. They can now use this info to get there and start making a new life outside of these trains, and they need to take the Snowpiercer back, as I expect our boy Wilford is going to be even more savage. Overall, it was a superb season, and while it did drag out a bit in the middle episodes, but the next season is going to be even more explosive. The third season has been greenlit, and I expect that we will see a reverse of season 1, with our revolutionaries rushing to catch up with Snowpiercer, and there's a brutal regime on Snowpiercer there. But that is it for this video. I have loved bringing these videos to you weekly, and thank you so much for the support as well. Please do keep up with us, as we will be having our Godzilla vs. Kong video possibly Wednesday or Thursday, and we cover The Flash, and of course we cover Falcon and Winter Soldier weekly. But that is it. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.